Hey everyone! In today's video I felt like painting some jewelry and some crystals, earrings, rings and stuff. Not for any particular reason, but just to explore what it's like to paint different materials. I'm always painting with the same stuff, the same way, so I thought it'd be fun to try something different this time. Usually, I like to start by gathering some references of things that inspired me just to get a feel for how I want the pieces to look, how the light hits them, how I want them to reflect. It's kind of like a little pre-study for inspiration. I use Milanote for this, which by the way is not sponsored or anything, but I find it really helpful for organizing references. There's also another app called PureRef that works great for this too. Honestly, the hardest part of these mini illustrations or this spread is painting the gold material. Figuring out which colors to use was tricky because I wanted the contrast to really pop, like in the reference images I saw, where the light and shadows stood a lot. So I decided to use yellow, purple and orange, which are like analogous and complementary colors that made the most sense to me. But I'm not completely convinced with how it turned out. Actually, I think my favorite parts are the small jewelry pieces, like the earrings for example, because the rest didn't quite convince me, but overall I'm happy with the spread. I had never tried drawing jewelry before, so I think it turned out pretty well for a first try, especially with the light and reflections. Okay, so one of the reasons I wanted to do this jewelry spread is because I've been watching Dungeon Messi on Netflix, and well, there's an episode. I don't want to spoil it for you, so if you haven't seen it, maybe skip this part for a sec. But honestly, it's not a huge spoiler. There's this creature in one episode which is like jewelry. They are like monsters which are like jewelry. And I thought it was such a cool concept. After seeing that, I really wanted to try drawing some jewelry and learn how the reflections and light interact with the shapes. If you've seen the show, you'll know what I'm talking about. I love the first season, can't wait for the next one. And yeah, by coincidence, I also started watching Queen Charlotte. I mean, I have seen all the Bridgertons, but I haven't seen the Queen Charlotte one. And this doesn't seem have too much in common with the Dungeon Messi, but it's got like all this old Victorian medieval vibe with all elaborate dresses and tons of jewelry, bracelets, earrings, gorgeous necklaces. The outfits are like so shiny and detailed, and it inspired me to try drawing some of that style too. As I said, like they don't have much in common, but I linked the jewelry from that episode in Dungeon Messi and Queen Charlotte with all the jewelry and cool stuff they have on the show. I hope you're understanding me. Okay, so now let's talk about the flower for a sec. I had a hard time with it. When I started drawing it, I already felt like it was going to turn out awful. So Of course, that didn't help. The reference I used was this beautiful neon light flower with bright tones, and I thought, wow, this is going to be so fun to draw. But the thing is, I didn't have the right neon shades, so I started picking random colors and thinking this isn't going to work. And it just kind of went downhill from there. At that point, I wasn't liking how it was coming out, so I ended up covering it with a post-it note. And at first, I wanted to cut this part of the video, but I think it's important to show that sketchbooks are for experimenting. Like I said, I've never drawn jewelry before, never tried anything this shiny or reflective, and I ended up covering that flower because I wasn't happy with it. But there's nothing wrong with covering up something you don't like in your sketchbook. If something didn't turn out how you wanted, it's totally fine to move on. And in this case, I just drew over it because I like to use every bit of the page. There's no harm in having a post-it or something in your sketchbook. Some people are very perfectionist and want every page to look perfect, but I think it's okay to accept that not everything will turn out great. It's normal, and not everything has to be perfect. So yeah, I just wanted to mention that because I think it's important. And well, I'll stop rambling now. The video almost over. And thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it and that it inspires you to draw some jewelry too. Thanks again for watching. Bye bye. Thank you.